man with arguably the toughest job in South Africa right now is Eskom's Chief Executive, Brian Dames, and is with us here on Newsnight. Welcome, and thank you very much, Mr. Dames, for joining us. A deficit of more than 190 billion rand over the next 5 years. How big a crisis is this?
Let's be very clear, evening, Jeremy. We don't have any financial woes. Let's be quite clear on that. We have delivered 4 years of very sound business and financial performance. The deficit really relates to what we've applied for the regulator and what they have allowed. We will make sure we continue to operate Eskom in a financially sustainable manner.
What's the plan, though? How are you going to find the extra money?
We can only do what we have funds for, Jeremy, and then somebody else must pick up the rest. Yes, we have said that we would look fundamentally at how we do things at Eskom. We would look at further ability to raise financing out of the markets. There's a discussion with the regulator as to which costs are prudently incurred and how we can deal with that. The support from the shareholder, which we would look at the mandate of Eskom, we will go through all of those steps. And if all else fails, we'll have to address that back to the regulator again. We have a game plan in place for the next 2 years. We comfortably will deal with that. And really the challenge is the choices, not for Eskom, but for the country to be made beyond that period.
What I'm hearing is that you need to go back to government, the principal shareholder, and you want more money.
No, I think what you're hearing is that we can only commit what we have money for. Beyond that, you have a situation where we have to invest in capacity beyond what we're currently doing. You have to expand the electricity system in the country to look for future growth. If we're not going to do that, then somebody else must be doing that.
In your own words, who's to blame for the delay at Medupi?
In our words, we have a responsibility to make sure that projects are online. For now, the contractors made a clear commitment. We have 3 key issues, and really we have put that clearly on the table. We have a control system currently that's not working. We have boiler repairs that's been delayed. Today, both contractors in that regard issued statements clearly indicating that their systems were not satisfactory.
Buck stops with you. Were you tough enough with the contractors themselves? Were you cracking the whip hard
enough? The buck
enough?
stops with us, and we, like we said today, we take fully accountability for making sure that this happened. There's a lot of lessons we have learned. I can give you the assurance. All of what we have been cracking the whip for a long time. Many of them, even financially, are not being paid currently because they have to deliver.
The minister said, I think it was in December, that if this deadline was not going to be met, heads are going to roll. Which heads are going to roll? And it's happening on your watch. Is your head going to roll? Yeah,
I think he made the statement. You should ask him. Wrong person to ask. You should ask him that. From our perspective, we are doing everything that we have to make sure that this project comes online as soon as possible.
How, in fact, are you trying to recoup the money from the contractors?
These are very complex contracts, Jeremy. We have a clear commercial strategy in place. You must understand this is going to take some time. These are big contracts. It's still going to be quite a legal battle to deal with this. But that we have in place.
Are papers going to be served on these contractors?
No, already been served in terms of the penalties already being levied in terms of non-delivery.
But further to that, though?
No, certainly. Certainly. It's very important that those are responsible for the delays. We obviously hold them to account.
One union is claiming that contractors have been sabotaging the process in order to make more money. How does that sit with you? Is that true?
Certainly not raised with us as a company. I think currently I have no evidence in that regard. We are very concerned about some of the issues that has led to this delay. They have been very concerning. And it's bringing to question many things. We have a certain picture of our ability to do things as a country, some of our big companies to deliver, and it's actually not the case.
Brian Dames, given that Medupi isn't coming online as originally planned, isn't it time that Eskom comes clean and tells us that we are now going to face blackouts? The spectre of blackouts has been with us for some time. The fact that this is not going to happen, that you have to find this extra capacity, the reality is we are going to see these blackouts. Power failures, call them what you want.
Yeah, I think you and I had the same discussion as we led into winter, and you've not had any. And certainly
the situation, though, is graver, though, isn't it?
And certainly, and our intent is not to have that. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the delay of the first unit, which is 800 megawatts, in a power system that has got 43,000 megawatts. So yes, it's very important that it comes online. Yes, it's very important that the rest of it comes online. We have quantified that electricity gap for next year to be 700 megawatts of what we call mid-merit power. There's supply options and demand options that we will have to implement to close that gap. We will work, as we have done up to now, to make sure the light stays on.
Supply options and demand options, what does that mean?
The demand options we've been rolling out this year, very successful across our own customer base in terms of saving electricity. Supply options in terms of our own capacity options, the introduction of our independent power producers, power available within the region. All of those is what we should look at.
Reports tonight also suggesting that the Kusile plant is going the same way as Medupi, that there are delay problems there. Is that true?
There are concerns. We have raised that in our briefing the last time. Very similar, particularly on the boiler. We have some civil concerns on the civil works at Kusile. I have asked for detailed work to be done around the current schedule as to what the team has been indicating to us. We're doing some assessment in that regard. And as soon as we've got a clear heads up, then we'll certainly make sure, as we have been communicating very transparently, where we're at with Kusile.
When was the last time you spoke to the Public Enterprises Minister, and what did he tell you?
Today he was at the briefing with us, and he commended us for our certainly the performance that the company's had in a very tough year, but he's also been very clear around his expectations around what we need to do. There's some operational issues that really we have to deal with, and then these projects are crucially important for Eskom and for the country, and we need to really make sure that those are delivered.
You sleeping at night? Are you worried about this?
I sleep well at night, and it's very important that you do sleep, because during the day you're very busy. I'm concerned. And it's very important that we really get our partners to now deliver.
Thank you very much for joining us. Brian Damas is the Chief Executive Officer of Eskom, with us here on Newsnight.
News that moves. eNCA.com.